And don't blame me after this video if you're gonna adopt a cat. That's not on me. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. So as you can probably read from the title, today's video is a little bit different from my usual makeup content, but today I would like to introduce you to my 4 little fur babies. They are my pride and joy, my entire heart, my whole life. I just love them, and if there's anything else that I can talk about for hours and hours other than makeup, it definitely would be my cat. So I hope you guys don't mind this different type of content. I actually have been requested to introduce my cats, but I thought because it's the holiday season, just in case some of you guys are spending it alone or can feel a little bit more lonely, I'm here to keep you some company with some cat content, because what is better than cat content? And don't blame me after this video if you're gonna adopt a cat. That's not on me, okay? I'm just sharing my pride and joy. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hop right into the introductions. So I quickly do want to plug in their Instagram account if you guys want to see more content from my cats. It is Judy's 2_cats on Instagram, and they have a shared account so you can see more content of them, photos, and I do post stories of them time to time. I haven't been posting that much recently, but I definitely want to start posting again. But if you would like to give them a follow there, I would appreciate it. Honestly, it makes me like even more happier that you guys would follow my cats more than you're following me. Like, they are literally my children, so it makes me really happy. But let's go into the introductions. I am a mother of 4 if you guys are new here. I will always be a mother of 4. That is just who I am, and I am a crazy cat lady. Okay, so we gotta start from the beginning. So I'm gonna start with the oldest cat. So we have Rocky. She is a girl. A lot of people think she's a boy because of her name. I think Rocky is a common boy name for pets, maybe, I'm not too sure, but Rocky is my girl. We are the only 2 girls in this household. We are definitely overruled by the boys here, but we keep strong and we still take over this house. So Rocky is a really old cat. She is actually 19 years old, guys. I know, but she is still young as ever. She's still very feisty, got all her sass in her. She's still jumping around, running here and there. She's the same as I met her 9 years ago. So Rocky is actually Harry's cat, who is my boyfriend that I met 9 years ago. So Harry and Rocky grew up together. Harry got Rocky when he was about 7 years old. So they went through childhood to teenage life to adulthood. And when I came in the picture, that's when I met Rocky 9 years ago. Rocky really changed my life. And I'm not being dramatic here, because in a lot of aspects she really did. Because before I actually met Rocky, before I met Harry, I actually didn't like cats. I was really scared of them because I had like a really small incident in intermediate, which is, I think it's like middle school in America. I don't know the conversion of our schools, but I was about like 11 or 12 and I was sleeping over at a friend's house and she had a cat. But her cat, like, I went to go pet her cat, but then her cat scratched me and it was like the tiniest scratch ever. But ever since then, I was really scared of cats. So I met Harry when I was 16, and that's when I met Rocky. And I don't know what about Rocky like really changed like my love for cats, because Rocky is not really like an affectionate cat. She's very closed off, she's very introverted, she's kind of like me. Like, if I could compare myself, like my personality, to any 4 cats, I definitely would be Rocky. You just need to feed us and leave us alone, because we just want to be left alone. Because Rocky's not very affectionate, she's not very physical touch, she's very independent, likes to be alone. But when I met Rocky, I don't know what happened, but she just showed me like this unconditional love, and she changed my entire life. Because of Rocky, I'm this crazy cat lady. If there wasn't Rocky, there would be no Tubby, there would be no Cooky, there would be no Barry. Like, Rocky started everything for me, and Rocky was the whole reason why I went cruelty free. Like, my love for her just grew and grew. She showed me this unconditional love that like I have not received and felt before, but I got it from this fur little grumpy cat, and she's like my beginning, she's the start, she is my rock. And that's what we call her. We call her the Rock because, you know, the Rock. We have a lot of nicknames for her. A lot of them are like little sounds. Harry like calls her like but it's a little bit different from how I do it. But we call her Milky Mindy because her body, because she's quite old, it's so like jiggly and milky, and then I don't know why I call her Mindy. It just flowed, Milky Mindy. But she's a Milky Milk. We call her Kimiza. I don't know why I started calling her Kimiza. Like, these random nicknames just come out of nowhere, and it's hard to think of all of them because like I will say them throughout the day naturally, but I don't like think of them when I'm like telling you guys about it. But yeah, we have a lot of nicknames for her, and she really has lived like such a hard life. Like, she's been through so much, like 19 years old, guys, and she's still feisty. Like, she's still got it. But although Rocky, she's not really so affectionate physically, you can really trust on her to be there for you. When I was going through some hard times, or when Harry was going through some hard times, like, she wouldn't come to you or like rub against you or anything, but she will always be there. So if like I'm crying at night in bed, she'll be there. Like, and usually she won't be, but she will be like by my leg, like somewhere near me to keep me company. And that's, I think, how she shows love. She's not, I feel like she's a very tough love kind of cat, where she's not very affectionate, like not someone that's gonna give you a lot of hugs and kisses and stuff like that, but she's loyal and she will be there. But for a weakness of Rocky's, I would say, is that she is very, very greedy. She's a very greedy cat when it comes to food. Like, she loves like Temptations, which I know is not really healthy for cats, I understand, but I personally feel like I rather let them be happy while they are here because their life is so short. And Rocky, like, yeah, she's like addicted to them. Like, she's addicted. She's addicted to food. Like, she does not like to share when it comes to her food. She's really, really greedy, I would say. I feel like Rocky probably opened up to me a lot because before I came in the picture, so when it was just like Harry's family's cat, she was only eating kibble and that's all she had. And when I met her, when I look back at the photo, she was actually quite slim. But when I came along, you know, I bought all kinds of food for her. I introduced her to the world, and she did gain a bit of weight, in which she has maintained. She's a little curvy, delicious girl. So I feel like after that, she kind of opened up to me because I'm the one that like gave her nice food and like proper, like nutritious food as well. So I feel like maybe that's why she kind of opened up to me. But she is a very lovely girl. I feel like she's very underhyped because you could say that like her coat is quite common, like that hazel kind of coat. So I guess when people come over, and if they were to see like all 4 cats or all 3 cats, they would look at Cooky because he's like the rag doll. He's got blue eyes, he's big and chunky. But Rocky, well, even if you did come over, you probably wouldn't see her because she's probably like sleeping or hiding. You'll have to stay for like 4 or 5 hours and then she'll come out and show herself, because that's how she is. She's very closed off. She hates everyone but us. Like, she hates everyone. She's very protective of our house. When the courier man comes, like, she'll go she'll growl. Sometimes though, not all the time, but she is very protective of this house. We have like a neighborhood cat. We call him Sweetheart. He will like come around our house, and Rocky's like always looking out the window. She will literally, like, it sounds like a human scream. Like, she's like, like, it sounds like a human scream. That's how protective she is over this house. Like, when that cat comes around, which Sweetheart, the neighborhood cat, he's actually walked into our house and like ate their food. She's very protective over this house. Like, I've never heard a cat scream like that before. Like, it sounds like a human scream. But that's how Rocky is. She's a very tough love kind of girl, but I think once you get to know her, you really see her charm and beauty, because I think Rocky is so beautiful. Like, I think she's very overlooked when it comes to her prettiness. Like, she's just so pretty. Her white is so white and creamy. Like, it's like looking at the sky. It's so fluffy. And then her face just has a really nice like structure. She has a very like this kind of face. But I always call her my grumpy grandma, but she has a lot of love and she's always there. So that is Rocky's little introduction. And next we then move into a Tubby, which I'm gonna grab a tissue and try not to get too emotional during Tubby's introduction, because Tubby actually did pass away at the end of July, and it's still hard to talk about. But I think if I don't talk about his passing, because that was very traumatic, just talking about him in general, I think it would be more like happy tears rather than like sad tears. oh, I don't know, maybe it will be sad tears as well. But Tubby did pass away in July. If he was still here, he would have been 3 years old. He would have just turned 3 earlier this month. And when I tell you that Tubby is the most perfect cat, like the bestest friend ever, he was the bestest friend. Like out of all the cats, like I love all my cats equally, like seriously no favorites, but I genuinely did find like a very strong connection with Tubby. Like he was just so special. And yeah, so his story goes, we have to go back to 2018. So Harry's family had a little food business and it was raining really heavily that day. I think it was like thundering. It was a really bad weather day, and little old baby Tubby, like 6 weeks old, 8 weeks old, he walks into the shop and Harry sees him and was like, wow, okay, let's take him. I wasn't there because I was actually flying home from Australia, so I was landing later that day. And before all of this, it has been just me, Harry and Rocky for 6 years at that point. Like we were the 3 musketeers, like it was always us. We moved everywhere. We moved out of Auckland, back into Auckland, into the city, to here. Like we moved a lot and it was just always us 3. Like us 3 were the best friends. And during those 6 years, I always mentioned to Harry, like, can we please get another kitten? Can we add one more to the family? Really wanted another cat, but because Rocky is very closed off and she was quite old, we didn't really want to add to her stress, because like our first priority is always how they feel and their comfort over ours. We just didn't know how Rocky would take it in if we were to get a new cat, and we just didn't really want to deal with that right now, so we always like just put it off. But I've always wanted another kitten. So when I flew home from Australia that day, Tubby was in our garage and I was so surprised. I was not expecting it. I was crying because I was so happy, but he was in really bad condition, so obviously we took him to the vet, and all his condition was easy to solve. He just needed to be cleaned and be on medication. He got better very quickly and he was ours. He was our little Tubby, and he was such a little love bug. Like he's so affectionate. Out of all the cats, he's definitely the most affectionate when it comes to like physical touch. Every morning I would wake up and I'll go toilet, and I guess he hears me peeing. He knows like, oh, she's awake. But I go back in bed and go on my phone, and he'll come to the bed and he'll hop in bed with me under the blanket and sleep on top of me. And that was like our morning routine. Like he really was such a like physical touch kind of boy. He would always be sitting on my lap whenever I was editing, when watching TV. He's always there. When I'm cleaning the house, he'll follow me. Like he was just always there, and he truly like is my best friend, like always will be. And I just had like a really deep like connection with him, and he went through so much. There was one point in time where he went missing, where I thought like it was all my fault. Like I thought it's a whole ordeal. I don't really want to touch on that because that's like in the past, but he did suffer a lot. Like he was a stray cat, he went missing, and then he passed from kidney disease. So he really is just the best Thumby. That was one of his nicknames. Thumby, Thumbs, Thumbelina. Like I really don't know how we get these nicknames, but we just do. And Tubbs. He really respected Rocky. He would give Rocky her space. Like those two got along really well because they never really fought, because Tubby like respected her and gave her space. Really just the best boy. Like truly such a good boy. And I really miss him a lot. So I don't want to cry right now, so it's still a little hard for me, yeah. But I will always remember him in the best light way possible. And I feel like maybe he's the cat that you guys probably saw the most, because he was always like in my room, especially when I didn't have this setup and I was like filming more to the middle and this door was open. Sometimes you could see him walking past. He was just more like of an open cat, for sure. And then let's move into Cooky, Mr. Chong's kin. He is 6.5 kgs, pure love of fluff and chunkiness and muscle. He is so cute. Like every time I look at Cooky, I You just want to squish him until he explodes because he's that like adorable and he's just so fluffy. Like he's so fluffy. Cooky is such a gentle giant. We call him a gentle giant because he's huge. He's the biggest one out of all of us, but he's very gentle and very kind. I mean, he can be gentle. He can be quite aggressive as well, but he's a gentle giant. And Cooky is 2 years old, and we got him during the period where Tubby was missing. So Tubby was missing for 5 weeks, but we thought that he had passed away, and I was dealing with a lot of guilt because I was blaming it on myself. We weren't sure. When Tubby came back to us, like, it truly was a miracle. It was God's work, like, truly. And I don't want to get into too much detail. I know I sound very vague about that, but it's that period was just a very, very dark time for me, and I think that was probably the first time Harry really saw me like that. So we've been together since high school, like since I was a teenager to a young adult. We've been together for a very long time, and I think that might have shocked him of how I was dealing with things and how my mood was, because I had a really bad breakdown, like multiple. So I think he wanted to like cheer me up, so he went looking for a new addition to our family, and he found Cooky. Cooky was the last of his litter as well, so he planned to get Cooky, but we couldn't take him until 8 weeks. And you know, the craziest thing happened. He planned to get Cooky, he paid for Cooky and everything, and then Tubby came back. Tubby actually came back on Harry's birthday, which was like so crazy. It was like the best birthday miracle ever. Like, we were so happy. Like, I never thought this was gonna happen. Like, I was so sad and blaming it on myself for his passing, because that's what I thought. I thought he passed away that time, but he didn't. He came back to us and he was all good. So we had him for a week, and then 1 week later I come home from dinner and Harry's like, surprise! A third cat. And I'll be honest, when I first saw Cooky, I wasn't like as excited as I was when we first got Tubby, because I really was not expecting it. And also, like, we just got Tubby back. Like, I was like, can I take on a third cat? Like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, how is Tubby gonna feel? Like, he needs to adjust back to getting home. Like, what about Rocky? Like, is she gonna be able to deal with 2 boys? But that quickly changed. I think just the initial night I was just a little bit shocked. I was unsure, and then obviously the next day, like, I fell in love with Cooky. And I think I have a very deep connection with Cooky as well. I have a deep connection with all my cats, just in different aspects, you know what I mean? Like with Cooky, because we got him at the end of like 2019, and then we went in lockdown in 2020. I was home all the time. I didn't have another job. I was working from home. So I really saw Cooky grow from a little baby to who he is now, like 24/7. Like, I was with him 24/7. So I really like just grew attached to him, because with Tubby, for example, when we got him, like, I had work, so I was going out constantly. You know, we traveled here and there, because when we got Cooky, we never traveled overseas. The longest time I left Cooky was like maybe 3 days, and that was on a domestic flight. With Tubby and Rocky, we left for like a month. Tubby, we left for like 2 weeks, the max. So when it comes to Cooky, I feel like I really was so attached to him, and I still am. I feel like I have separation anxiety from them. I really see him in a different light these days, I feel, because after Tubby passed, I know Cooky went through a really rough time as well. I feel like it's just so crazy. Like, I feel like when I'm talking to them, I know how they're feeling, like they are talking back to me, but when in reality, they're just staring back at me. Because Cooky and Tubby were really, really good friends. They were really, like, truly like brothers, and I found that so amazing. Like, that was the definition of love to me, because although that Tubby, who was like a stray ginger alley cat, and then Cooky, who's like, you know, a posh looking rag doll, they were like brothers. They were just like full of love. They loved each other, and they were like Dumb and Dumber. Like, that's how I would call them. I definitely saw a change in him. I don't know if it was me overthinking, but you know, mama's instinct. I think he just was a little different. He was just a bit sad, which, you know, reasonable, because when we got Cooky, Tubby was always there. Tubby was his big brother, and I feel like he really did learn a lot from Tubby. So once we got Barry, who is our newest cat, which I'll introduce him a little later on, I feel like Cooky kind of almost matured a bit. That was the same thing with Tubby as well. When we got Cooky, I felt like Tubby matured. Like, some of the things that he used to do that were a little bit more playful, you could say like more childish, he kind of stopped and matured to take care of his brother. And when Barry came along, and Cooky was now not the maknae, he was not the youngest, he was now the middle child. Now he's an older brother. I feel like he also grew up a little bit as well to take on that role, and I just see him in a different light because he really is so gentle. Like I guess I always looked at Cooky like, oh, he would always be my youngest, he would just be like my little baby. But when Barry came along, like when they go to eat, Barry, he always wants to eat what Cooky's eating, so he'll like push Cooky to the side, but Cooky will take it, like he won't fight him back. When Barry wants to play with his tail and like jump on him literally, Cooky will just take it. Like he is so gentle and he's just so loving. And I guess before I saw him as this like playful, crazy little big boy, now that I see him, he is still playful, he is still crazy, but he's also very gentle and kind. And with Cooky, he's pretty open. If you were to come over, he wouldn't really run away from you. Like if you're gonna pick him up, you probably can't pick him up because he doesn't like being held, but he does like belly rubs, and he just like lays on the floor, like arms up, legs spread out, and he's very open. They say that if a cat lets you rub their belly, they have opened up to you because their belly is like their most vulnerable spot. And Cooky would just open up, like he'll just open up. He's so fluffy, definitely the star of the family. When people come over, they definitely look at Cooky, they definitely gauge to Cooky. He's definitely there, he will come out. I feel like as the ages go down, the more friendly they are. Like Rocky won't see her. Tubby, maybe you can give him a little pet, but not too much. Cooky, you can rub his belly, and Barry, he'll come to you. Barry will come to you, he'll greet you at the door. Cooky is just a little fluff ball. We call him Mr. Chongs because he's very chonky, so like chonky Mr. Chong. Harry calls him Chungskin, and I call him Mr. Chongs. It's not Mr. Chongs, it's Mr. Chongs. There's a lot of nicknames I have for him. He's just so fluffy. I just want to like explode him because he's just so cute. But yeah, that is Cooky. And then lastly, we have my little Barry's kin, Mr. Barry, Mr. Bear, Berries. Barishka is a new nickname we gave him. He has a lot of nicknames, we just call them whatever, but I like to call him Mr. Bear because he's a little bear. Berries is only 4 months old, so he is a very new addition to our family. In a similar sense of how we got Cooky is how we got Barry, because after Tubby's passing in July, I also was not doing okay. You know, it's still hard to deal with and like kind of process. And I guess, you know, that mixed with the launch of my palette, there was a lot of emotions, which I am going to talk about. I'm going to do a video, a get ready with me, where I talk about 2021 and how it was the best but the worst year of my life. So a lot of emotions and a lot of breakdowns, and there was one night where I had like a very bad breakdown, and I think that again triggered Harry, because Harry's very kind. He has a very pure, clear soul, and he always has good intentions. Actually, like, because I think I felt very lonely without Tubby here, like his physical like presence, I felt very lonely. I did start looking online for cats to adopt, but there weren't really many, and I just couldn't find, and like nothing really clicked. And not that I was looking to get like a replacement for Tubby, like not that Barry would ever be a replacement. He's not a rebound or anything. I think I just really like, I don't know, was it I needed something to take my mind off, or I just needed that like physical like love again. It's just really hard to deal with, because when you come from a broken family, like my cats and this family I have in this house is like my family. Maybe you can't compare to like an actual baby, but to me, like, he was my family. So it was really hard. So that was the whole process of getting Barry. It was a surprise again, like how we got Cooky, but I also had like a feeling that we were gonna get one soon, just because I was looking, and I think that kind of like told Harry, oh, maybe she's okay with having another baby right now. I wasn't looking for a ginger, that's for sure. But yeah, I guess that's how we ended up with Barry. It's not a sad story, but yeah, he's not a rebound or anything like that. He is his own Barry's kin, and I always wanted like a black cat, and I told Harry that the next cat that we get, we're gonna call him Barry, and that's how his name came to be. And I already have a name for our next cat. Yes, I do want a 5th cat, and I already know the name. Should I just tell you guys? I'll just tell you guys. The next name of our cat is going to be Jelly. So if you haven't picked up by all of our names, we all end with a Y. So we have Harry, Judy, Rocky, Tubby, Cooky, Barry, and then we'll have Jelly. So we all end with a Y. That's just like, I guess, a tradition that we started going. I don't know how that really started, but Harry's very adamant on that as well. So we're gonna keep that going with all our cats and all our little family. Barry's is such a loving boy. There's actually a lot of qualities of him that remind me of Tubby. I wouldn't say they're similar, but I guess because Barry's is a little bit more affectionate and he's definitely a little bit more physical touch than Cooky and Rocky. So I would say physical touch, affectionate wise, I would say Tubby was the most, then Barry's, then Cooky, and then Rocky. He is so affectionate. He loves to cuddle. He always wants to be with someone. Like, he doesn't like being in the room alone. That could be just because he's still a kitten, but still he always wants to be with us. And he's very, very loving. And he's such a little rascal. So he doesn't know how to pee properly. If you guys have any tips for me, please, I would appreciate it, because he knows where to pee. He goes poop in the litter box pretty much all the time. He hasn't pooped anywhere else besides the litter box. He pees in the litter box sometimes, but other times, you know, he peed on our bed, he peed on the couch, he peed on one of my PR boxes. Lucky the PR box was empty, but still he peed in the box. So yeah, he doesn't know how to pee properly. Again, it could be since he's still a kitten, but I do want to like train him while he's a kitten. I don't want to make it a habit, but we have tried like everything, like changing where we put the litter box, changing the litter, the amount of litter, like everything. We tried what Google has told us. So if you guys have any tips on how to get your kitten to like properly pee in its litter, please let me know. Other than that, he is a very, very loving boy. He learns a lot from his older brother Cooky, and I think he would have loved Tubby and Tubby would have loved him, but he's definitely learning a lot of Cooky's traits, because when it's time for breakfast or when it's time to eat, they know, and Cooky always like jumps up on the counter and eats because he has no patience. And I guess once Barry's was big enough to climb on the stool and then jump on the counter, he does that now as well. And there's just a lot of like little things that he copied from Cooky. Like Cooky likes to sleep against something, like he's always leaning against something like a human, like he's the cutest thing ever. But Barry's is like that now as well. So sometimes at nighttime when me and Harry are cuddling in bed, Barry doesn't like that. He doesn't like me and Harry showing love together, okay? He will like sleep in between us, and he will sleep his head on the pillow as well. So he's sleeping literally next to us, and I feel like, oh my gosh, it's like a newborn baby like sleeping in between us on our bed. He has like a little white dot here. His paws are brown. He's very slim. He's very skinny. He's very long. Like I keep saying he'll be a model if he was a human, because he's just, his legs are long. He's a really tall cat, I feel, and his tail is very long as well, very long and skinny. But yeah, I guess that is the story of Barry's. I'm still getting to know him because obviously it's only been, I think, 2 months now that we have gotten him, so it hasn't been long at all, but I feel like I do know him really well. But I guess there's not as many stories as I had with the other cats, as they are older and I've had them for longer. But Barishka, Mr. Barry's, he is a very nice loving boy. All my cats are so loving, and I feel like that's a stereotype against cats, like, oh, they're not affectionate, they are independent. Like, yes they are, but they're also very loving as well. Like, they will show you what love is, guys. Like, my cats have shown me unconditional love. They have become my family. They are life-changing little creatures, and I look at them with such amazing eyes. Like, how did God create such a perfect little being? And like, you just want to protect them, because like, what do they do wrong? You know, you want to give them the best life possible, and that's like what I really want to do. And I guess that's really my motivation, is like, I want to give them the best life possible. So yeah, that is Mr. Barishka, Mr. Barry's. I did ask you guys over on their Instagram account a couple of days ago to send over some questions, so I thought we could end off the video answering some questions. But the first question we have is, how vocal are all the kitties and what are their meow styles? So the most vocal cat definitely is Cooky. Whenever he needs something, whenever he wants something, he'll meow. He has this habit of like we have this toy. He had this toy ever since he was a kid, but it's like a spinning toy. So it's like a machine. He'll literally grab the spinning part, grab in his mouth, drag the entire machine to our room and start meowing. But the machine is quite big. Like he's like literally dragging it. It's the funniest thing ever. I'm not sure if I have a video of it because it's hard to capture on camera when he does it because it's so unexpected, but he does that a lot. So Cookie has a very loud meow. He meows the most often. His meow is very like he has that at the end like a stuffy nose kind of meow. And then Rocky, she has the most generic cat meow, just meow meow, very angelic like the girl she is. Tubby, he actually couldn't meow. Like he would go, oh he'll go like that. Like he'll make like little sounds like that. And then Mr. Berries, he meows like a dog. Like literally I was just in the toilet before I was filming and he was in the bathroom, which is right next door, and he was meowing. He was like oh, and I was like oh, and then he was like oh. So we're just like howling back at each other. His meow is more of like a howl, like oh. And sometimes he does like a bit of like what Tubby does, like that kind of meow. So I guess Rocky and Cookie have like the most generic meows. The next question is, do they get along fine? I would say yes and no. It depends on the combo that we are talking about. So Rocky and Tubby, they did get along. Not many fights with them. I feel like Rocky probably got along with Tubby the most. But when Tubby passed away and it was me, Harry, Rocky and Cookie, that was a really bad combo. Cookie and Rocky, it's not a good time, okay? Because with Cookie, he always wants to play with someone, and for some reason he likes playing with someone older than him. So he'll always like go to Tubby and play with him, but obviously when Tubby passed away, he had no one to play with, so he would resort to Rocky. And Rocky does not want to play with anyone, okay? Just leave her alone. Just leave me alone. And we'll be good. So what Cookie would do, Cookie will literally jump Rocky and scare her, and then Rocky will hiss at Cookie, but then Cookie thinks that's like, oh, she wants to play with me, she hissed at me, and like pursue her. But that's not the case. Rocky's like, get away from me. So they have a lot of fights quite often. I mean, it's not like they're scratching each other, just really hissing and growling at each other. So they don't get along. We try to separate them when we can. And then Berries and Cookies does get along. Cookie is really open to everyone. I feel like he is just a lovable boy. I feel like all the boys are quite open. So Berries jumps on Cookie a lot. I feel like he just tolerates it. He will growl sometimes at him. Barry is a kitten, so he has a lot of energy, and I think that's too much for Cookie sometimes. They do get along okay. I would say some are best friends, some are enemies, just some, but ooh, we manage somehow around here, somehow. Next question, do the cats sleep with the humans at night or on their own? So Rocky will most likely always be with us. She's either at our feet on the bed, or she has this little makeshift little hammock bed that we did. So she's right above me on our window. So she's always there, that's her spot. Tubby, yeah, for the most part, he would always sleep with us as well. It's really up to them whether they want to sleep with us or not. Cookie, 50-50. Barry is also 50-50. I feel like Barry, it depends, like if everybody's in the room, like Cookie as well, he'll be with us there too. And then for the last question, I thought I would end it with this one. So it says, are you or are they more of a mommy's girl slash boy or daddy's girl slash boy? This one's really funny because I always talk about this with Harry, and Harry's like, no, they love us equally, and I'm like, no, they have favorites. We don't have favorites, but they have favorites. So Rocky 100% is daddy's girl because obviously they grew up together. Like that's such a special connection and bond. But again, because I introduced her to her favorite thing in the world, which is food, I feel like she does accept me a little bit more. But definitely I would say at the end of the day, like when we're sleeping on the bed, she's always on Harry's side. And when I'm not in bed yet and Harry is, she'll sleep on my side, like go sleep on the couch girl kind of thing. As for Tubby, I definitely would say he was a mama's boy because I think we did have a very special bond. He was always with me. He's always with Harry as well, but like in the mornings he would always come snuggle me, so I feel like I have that leverage. So I would say he definitely was a mama's boy. He was always with me. He always followed me around. And then for Cookie, I would say Cookie leans pretty neutral. It's really hard to tell, but I would say maybe more of a mama's boy. I guess because I do play with Cookie a little bit more. I'm a little bit more interactive with him. But he definitely is quite neutral, I would say. But if I had to choose, I would say maybe mama's boy. And then for Mr. Barry's, he 100% is a daddy's boy. He loves Harry so much. Like, they are the duo, Harry and Barry, like best of friends. When Harry's lying down on the bed, Barry's will come up, jump on him, and like nudge on his head, like go like this, show him so much love. If I lie on the bed, he's not coming to me. But he also does give me a lot of love too. Like, he'll come and nudge me here and there, but he definitely does that to Harry a lot more. So yeah, that was a little quick introduction to my cats. Literally, I've been filming for over an hour, so I've been talking for an hour about my cats. Yes, that's how proud I am of them. I truly am, like literally my pride and joy. That is today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope editing Judy added a lot of videos and photos and clips for you guys, so you got a lot of content as well. Again, they do have an Instagram if you want to see more content from them. But thank you guys for loving my cats when they do appear on my Instagram or in my videos. You guys are always so loving to them as well, which makes me so happy. So thank you so much for watching today's video and showing interest in it, and you know, listening to me talk about my cats. If you made it all the way to the end of today's video, thank you so much. That does conclude today's video, guys. So thank you so much for watching again. I love you so much, and I'll go ahead and see you in my next video, which will be normal makeup content. But thank you so much for watching. Bye.